Hello and welcome to Breakfast Central. We are back on the air, the weekend starter edition, because after Breakfast Central comes Breakfast Extra with Mazzino and, of course, Judith. But then again, let's focus on why we're here. I'm saying good morning to you. Hope you had a fantastic night. And I hope the gongs and the sound that's coming all the way from River State is not in any way affecting your eardrums, because the sound that's coming from there is louder than you can imagine. It's basically the rift that's taken another part. Maybe we'll call it the series in part 6. I don't know what Linda thinks about it. Good morning.
We'll get into the details of the political high-stake drama that is unfolding in River State. But you're welcome to Breakfast Central, reaching you live from the city of aquatic splendor. And a city of aquatic splendor indeed, because in the month of January, the rainfall we witnessed overnight yesterday is quite unprecedented. In recent memory, I can't recall having such a heavy rain in January, but it is what it is. That's why I'm dressed the way I am, in tortoise neck, you know, because of the frigid conditions. That reminds me of when I was in the UK, but I mean, jokes apart. You're welcome to Breakfast Central. We have a lot for you to digest, insightful analysis on the biggest stories happening across the country. And of course, we're very complete today. Yeah, the Transformers are complete, yes. And allow me to introduce Lady Olive.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
My name is Olive. I am very, very happy to be back. I missed you both so much yesterday. I wasn't at work because I was unwell. But I'm glad to be back here, the Avengers. You called us Transformers, Binga. We are Avengers.
We're not, the good Transformers are what? I know the Decepticons are the bad ones.
Decepticons and oh my goodness.
I don't even understand.
Believe this.
I don't even understand that Transformers.
We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you.
That Transformers.
It's Avengers that I don't understand. I never watched.
No, I don't understand Transformers. That one that Karu turns to something that is
that's Transformers.
No, I don't understand it.
Autobots.
Yeah. It's Autobots and Decepticons.
Please, I stick to Avengers. Anyway, thank you so much for being here with us. Glad to be back. Interesting news happening in Nigeria, outside Nigeria. You see what's happening with Donald Trump. Unfortunate reports reaching us about the 37-year-old widow who was killed by ICE agents, the response of the U.S. president, the protests that have ensued, and the response to the protests after. Really, really sad. I mean, seeing Americans, they're being tear-gassed in the face by the ICE agents, and then they'll tell you it's self-defense.
Yes, and then you have the goal to talk about protests in different parts of the world, that they shouldn't use deadly force when it's happening in your backyard. And just 2 days ago, during a funeral service in the church, gunmen went there, killed 2 people, and the 10 people were shot. 2 sadly lost their lives. This was happening in the United States of America. I wish Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin would tell President Donald Trump that Christians have been persecuted in this country, and they would, you know, there is a disgraced country and things like that. So, I mean, let's be careful the kind of things we say, and let's also look in the mirror and introspect when we make decisions. Yes, and that message is to Mr. Donald Trump.
Anyway, let's come back to Nigeria. While drama is happening outside the country, there's a lot of drama happening in the country. Season 2, episode 1 of the River State saga is, it's currently on Netflix. But we'll be bringing you the details of that. We're streaming live on YouTube. You can drop your comments there regarding what your projections for River State and the outcome of the drama in River State will lead to. Leaders of the All Progressives Congress in Abuja have taken to the streets in protest, demanding the removal of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, over what they describe as actions that undermine the party's interests. The demonstration held in the nation's capital drew party leaders and supporters who accused Wike of weakening APC unity and acting against its political direction. With placards raised and chants echoing through the area, the protest called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to intervene and sack the former River State governor from his ministerial post. Now, as the pressure mounts, the question now is whether the president will heed the calls and remove Wike or keep him close as political calculations build towards the 2027 elections. In interesting clip there. But there was also another video. We had a video of Ajibola Bashiru speaking about the Minister of the FCT and asking him to step aside if he knows he wants to face Rivers politics. And he should step aside from his ministerial capacity.
I think it's a good advice. And he happens to be the APC National Secretary.
Absolutely, yes. And Wike, of course, clapped back at him. It's been a lot of...
What was the minister's response?
Wike said that he's coming for the 600 billion naira.
Yes,
that he heard that the sole administrator had left while he, left office.
And in what capacity?
Under
what law?
That's where his interest is. However, he should stay clear. Of course. However, he should stay... See, there's a lot... This drama, a few days ago, Fubara had said that the FCT minister likened him to a rat that will come in and eat some things. And then the same governor of Rivers State said that don't mind people who come out in public and make noise. That once the camera is off and they go back, that they start crying. So
I mean, it's becoming it's almost reminiscent of the high tension that we could feel in the air before the state of emergency was declared. And with what is going on, I really think that Mr. President needs to step in, and wise elders of the parties need to step in and do something about it. And in all of this drama, I mean, we always say, where are the people? How does it benefit the ordinary people, apart from content?
Let me read exactly Wike's response to Bashiru. He said, okay, you know what? Let's take a look at the video first, where Ajibola Bashiru, the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, was sending a message to the Minister of the FCT. But, okay, no, we don't have that first video. Let's give you Wike's response. The question that Benga was asking about was Wike's response to him. Let's take a look.
Let me warn those who come to River State because you have heard about 600 billion. You come here, you collect, and you open your mouth to talk anyhow. I want to say it. You know, when you are doing something for the interest of everybody, some people will come out to make sure those things don't work. I say it here, Victor, I want to say it here. Take this message. Tell your National Secretary, leave River State alone. Leave River State alone. Go and ask those who have tried it before. Go and ask those who have tried it before. Kapinta, Bidikila, Owa Pondole Dole, Kamanga, Wokandole, Owa Pondole Dole, Kapinta, Bidikila, Owa Pondole Dole, Kamanga, Wokandole, Owa Pondole Dole, Kapinta, Bidikila, Owa Pondole Dole, Kamanga, Wokandole, Owa Pondole Dole. Don't take our support from Mr. President for granted. You have to be careful the statement you make. You have to be careful. Today, you are enjoying in Osun. You don't know those who did the work. You're opening your mouth to talk about River State. Anything you see, take it. Anything you see, what? Take it.
Agreement is agreement, yo. Agreement is agreement, yo. Without reaching for settlement, you can't tell me nonsense. Agreement is agreement.
Oh, agreement is agreement, yo. Well, it would seem, some would interpret what Nyesom Wike said in his last statement as a subtle jab at the presidency when he says, do not take our support of the president for granted. So if you don't support the president, what's the alternative?
You know, in all of this, with the live band, with all the drama, with the circus, with the people lined up, both parties, it's it's a tragedy. Because if you look at River State should be competing with Lagos in terms of infrastructure, development. And what we've seen is, development and governance is taking the back foot. What we're seeing is politicking because of the egos of certain individuals that feel, oh, they must wield influence here and there. And when the FCT minister says we, Who is he
the
referring
we?
to as we?
You say you don't know the work that we did there.
Well, he also said in line with all of that comment that if everything goes south, he's going to spill the beans of the elections.
I really wish they would spill it.
it's-
Let them scatter everything.
These statements he made, there were threats there were innuendos, there were...
Osun State government.
Statements that are subject to multiple interpretations.
Done some things
done
in
something
Osun State.
illegal, you know.
And it'll be
to
great. It'll be great
influence
for the
electoral
FCT minister
process.
to just spill everything. You know, he who comes to equity must come with clean
You can't be bigger
hands.
than a state. You can't be bigger than a political party. You've already done your worst in the People's Democratic Party. It's almost comatose. And then you're bringing that division into the APC and they're telling you, look, you can't do this here. And then you're returning with threats.
All right, we want to hear what you think about this. We're streaming live on YouTube via News Central TV Live. When we come back from this break, I'll be taking comments from YouTube. Stay with us. You're welcome back to Breakfast Central. We're, of course, looking at wake-up conversations and seeing the update in Rivers State. We did play you Nyesom Wike's reply, but in case you're wondering why he was so upset and what led him to make those very strong statements, let's take a look at the statement of the National Secretary of the APC, Ajibola Bashir.
Fubara to the APC, the South-South geopolitical zone made a first. That is the first zone that asks all APC governors in the zone. So I congratulate our governor, I congratulate our party, because when the governor is doing well, it's symbol that our party is doing well. But the only way you can compensate the governor, compensate our party, people of Rivers State, is to continue to vote for our party, the APC, in all elections. APC, and I know that in the fullness of time, the general election coming, the vote for our party, the vote for our governor, the vote for our president will be very massive in Rivers State.
There you have it. We'll head to X to take what Nigerians are saying, but also to mention we're streaming live on YouTube. News Central TV Live is where to find us. What are your thoughts for how the drama that has ensued in Rivers State is and your projections as well?
Before we go to what Nigerians are saying, I'm just wondering how the dexterity and the fact that the FCT minister can juggle so many things at the same time. Because it's currently, you wonder what your primary assignment is, your KPIs, because it's currently in Rivers State.
Campaigning.
Campaigning, but it's not called campaign. It says it's a thank you tour of all the local government areas. Let's imagine when he was governor. Do you think he would allow the ex-governor, Rotimi
Never.
Amici, to do such? So don't do unto others what you don't want others to do unto you. And then the FCT itself, our reporters have been reporting on the amount of refuse heaps and the state of the environment in the FCT, that lack of street lights and refuse heap is smelling. So it would be nice for the governor to,
And that's
for
not
the
all.
minister,
There's also
to face
an
his
emergence.
primary responsibility.
Sorry to butt in, Winger. There's also an
Insecurity.
emergence of one chance.
Yes,
They killed, a
insecurity.
lawyer was killed.
Very sad.
The Nigerian Bar Association.
I mean,
yeah, that's
and
the
a
state.
nurse was also killed.
Karu. This is a popular Karu in Abuja as well. A very clean, beautiful scenery and other areas all smelling.
I mean, this is a nice
And then the lawyer that was
Federal
killed.
Capital Territory.
That moved the NBA Nigerian Bar Association president to put out a statement about the state of insecurity in Abuja. And then you wonder when all of these things are happening. You know, in a saner climate, the people of Abuja, I mean, that's it. The Federal Capital Territory must not become a fertile ground for one-chance murderers. He did put out that statement yesterday. It was painful. It's Miss Chinemerem Pascalina Chukwumeze, a nurse, and Princess Chigbo Mediatrix, a dear colleague, that's a lawyer, former treasurer of the Nigerian Bar Association Abuja branch. They lost their lives after falling victim to their deadly criminal enterprise. Their bodies were later discovered in different locations across the city. Now, these were not faceless victims. They were professionals, contributors to society, and ordinary citizens who whose only intention was to return safely from their daily engagements. Their deaths underscore a frightening reality that insecurity is once again tightening its grip on the nation's capital. And Binga, one will wonder, as a president, first of all, where is our president? There's no statement.
Where is our president? Repeat that question.
Where is our president?
Bonjour, les merci.
Come on to the play.
Okay. I hope I've been able to answer you and not confuse you.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So,
because in all of this drama, no, let's be honest. I mean, I know sometimes, but let's just be honest. You cannot have this
I'm
level
always honest.
of insecurity, this level of braggadocio. Oh, just name it whatever you want to name it.
Like there's no father figure
Like
to
there's
hold
no like
things
it's
together.
a free for all. It's a free
it's
reign.
almost like we're not autopilot.
Look at that story from the Nigerian Bar Association. It's sad. 2 persons were killed. Guess
Today
what?
is the 9th day of the new year. Your president hasn't stepped foot.
Okay.
There's a
country.
lot. If you list a lot. So what we're saying is, they say it starts from the top. Leadership starts from the top. That's what anybody will tell you about leadership. And it rolls down to whoever follows. If the president has not spoken about the United States, President Trump's bombing in Sokoto up until date, the president has not made any statement about...
Now, what else do people want him to
hold
say?
on. I mean,
He's spoken to say that he was aware they did it in collaboration.
Not from the president.
You want a physical address. People are
I'm
expecting
even
a lot.
talking about the ills. Let's call it the ills. Let's call it what it is. It is the ills of maladministration from different quarters. And the quarters I simply mean is, one, look at what is happening in the FCT. 2 persons have died. The FCT minister has not even put out a statement about the people that have died in a place where he's overseen, but he's putting out statements and busy. There's a lot
It has to rein in on this minister because you declared a state of emergency because of this political squabbles happening in River State. And the same River State is about to implode because there's impeachment notice on the governor.
That's the new one.
That's the
update.
means all
the thing he did was in... You echo my thoughts, because that's what I wanted to say as well, that the president stepped in, they had the peace accord. Initially, it was like Siminalayi Fubara was not being respectful of the president, the father of the nation. Eventually, he succumbed after the emergency rule was declared, and they found a way to settle it. So it would seem that at the end of the day, all the president's effort was just a futility, and he hasn't had as much influence in bringing stability to the state. Is Nyesom Wike bigger than President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Do you think this sort of thing would have happened when President Obasanjo was president?
It won't happen.
Who are you? Who born you? Who you?
You know, let's just say it the way it is, guys. Back then, I mean, I can speak for myself. I wasn't active in terms of writing and following up daily news and current affairs journalism. I was focused on another aspect of journalism. But of course, once you're in the newsroom, you know what's back then, it was radio newsroom. And there's no way the news desk would not be talking and you will not pay attention. Or they would have a general meeting, because everybody had a general meeting. They would talk about, okay, news, what are you doing? Sports, what are you doing? This, so you would know what's going on. You dare not. And I say so because, one, maybe both of you are not, maybe you're not seeing, I just want to bring one aspect. 2 people are being killed, though. Maybe we need to reread that. You need to read that letter again from the Nigerian Bar Association.
In the FCT.
They were murdered in the same state that you celebrated and said that you've brought life into the state. 2 persons, professionals, killed. Killed. And guess what? The person who's supposed to oversee the security of that state. No, guys, wait, let's listen to this. He's somewhere fighting. He's not the governor of that state.
But if we're being fair,
he's not the governor of that state.
But if we're being fair, what that is not quite different from what we see at the presidency level, where we would see situations that there have been attacks in certain states and Nigerians have been killed, and the president will not be here. He will be nowhere to be found. So I don't think that you can criticize what you are also guilty of in this case.
Olive,
I don't know how the president will rein him in when he does the same thing as well.
While I would say this one is even different from that of the president. The president takes a leave. He puts an official note that I won't be around. This one, you are seeing the individual. The individual with your kuru he's somewhere else. He's fighting. Well, the first primary assignment he has been given.
It's time for Breakfast Central, and I'm doing Instagram Live somewhere else, and I'm...
Do you understand?
I'm just ignoring both of you.
And then they tell you that, your show, Breakfast Central, something has fallen and you're in charge. You said, you don't even... So people have died you have a primary assignment as the FCT minister.
You're right.
People are crying that, they've killed 2 people. Insecurity is back. 1 chance operators are back. Guess what? The state is smelling, but you have turned a deaf ear to that.
And you are antagonizing people. On even the ruling party, you're making veiled threats.
Okay, let's see what Nigerians are saying about this. But I'll first start with YouTube, where we're streaming live. Lenny Nikwere says, in a sane world, Wike would have been picked up by law enforcement agency but saying he'll say a lot of things if he's sacked. Because he really needs to say those things. So, Victor Okebata, I'm not sure I can read this comment. He says, Wike needs to be forced to see someone urgently and someone in the line of medical personnel. But let's go on X and see what Nigerians are saying about this on X as well. Our first tweet, Wike must now choose between his job in Abuja or his godfather role in Rivers State. The man needs urgent, realistic advice. Time is running out and he seems not to understand the nature of the political cloud hovering over him. This is from Daily Justice.
A word of advice.
King Dave?
King Dave says, Abuja is currently shaking. APC leaders have officially labeled Wike a threat to national security, while he's busy using his 26 legislative puppets to destabilize Rivers. His own employers are demanding his head. Tinubu, the message is clear. You can't build renewed hope. You can't build renewed hope on the foundation of a man who knows only how to destroy. Sack the drama minister today, says King Dave. TFK says they are joking when he delivered River State to them. Where were they and their banners? He's referring to the protesters. River State people voted. I don't understand how he delivered River State to them. Okay, he did the groundwork and the politicking, I guess. Austin says, these are sponsored protesters. It may surprise you, they don't even know the offense of Wike. Okay.
What is my offense?
Olumide Nelson says, Rivers Wahala don't reach national level. 2027 loading. Niger politics, that true season film, full of twists, high moments, low moments, and suspense. With it give person heart attack. I think Nigerians have resigned themselves to just take it for the entertainment value that it brings. You know, the gossip, the he says, she says, and that's where the problem lies. Honey to you. Off the rock. Wow, some of this handles,
social media handles very.
It reminds me of Olive's email when she was in law school. Olive Dimple Olive Cute Olive 665.
Now you'll be 666.
At yahoo.com.
You'll be 666.
At yahoo.co.uk.
No. It's Slim Shady. So you will now put for life or to die for.
_ Johansson.com.
Oh yeah. Let's take another one. This one says, if he sacked Wike, then everything will be revealed. He doesn't have the balls to sack him. Okay. Do we have another tweet? All right, these are the comments that we've seen on X. There's more. Unfortunately, we can't take those. On YouTube, Victor Okebata says, there's no government in Nigeria. Everyone is on their own. Lillian Oluoha says, good day, the crew. Why the one-chance criminal gang come to limelight these days is because NBA is involved. People die here in Abuja every day in their numbers. No thanks to one chance.
So it's such a menace. One of our correspondents, our State House correspondent, Bettina Wiley, did a report on it. Hope we will during the course of our program today. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think we have a break. Let's go for a break very quickly. When we come back, we'll take a look at the next stage. Now, this is season 2, series episode 4. And we're back. So, still staying with River State, because that's obviously the biggest story in the land. Well, not really the biggest, but one of the biggest stories. The River State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has strongly rejected the impeachment process targeted at Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, describing the move as unnecessary and destabilizing. Now, yesterday, just in case you missed out, the River State House of Assembly came together, and they spoke and talked about how they will start the process to impeach the current governor, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, and ensure that the process will be complete this time. Well, guess what? The current party of the governor, APC, acknowledged the independence of the Rivers House of Assembly and its constitutional powers of checks and balances, but insisted that the impeachment threat reportedly linked to budgetary matters is misplaced and appears to be a carryover of internal disputes from the opposition. The party highlighted that the 1.485 trillion naira budget approved during the period of emergency rule remains valid until August 2026. with constitutional provisions allowing the governor flexibility on supplementary budgets and spending timelines. You see this drama, it's about to go to another stage. Let's take a look at this video and we'll come back.
Distinguished colleagues, the majority leader, one house please, order. The majority leader has just laid before the house the notice of allegations of gross misconduct brought pursuant to Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended 1999, and this particular letter was signed by 26 members of the Rivers State Assembly, which the majority leader has read their names. Distinguished colleagues, I'm now in receipt of this letter, and pursuant to the sections of the 1999 Constitution is amended, I will ensure that this letter is forwarded to His Excellencies Asimari Fubara, GSSRS, Governor of Rivers State, within 7 days. Distinguished colleagues, I will do that. Rest assured, I will not renege. I will do my job in line with.
And the next 6 months, before he will give account of or statement of account of Rivers people. Other governors are saying how they are receiving money, how much they received, how much they have spent since he became governor. Since May 2020, since May 29th, 2023, Simla Fubara and Ngozi Madu were sworn in. They have never for once issued any statement of account of Rivers State. Not once. And the governor is boasting that they are going to call us and give us order not to follow the Constitution. And people are going in the media, people that we respect, elders that we respect are supposed to call him to order. They are going to tell him that what he's doing is good, rather than caution the governor for his infractions on the Constitution. They are clapping for him. Rather than calling on the governor, they are calling on our FCT minister, who is helping Mr. President in Abuja, and making it look like it's a problem between the FCT minister and the governor. It is not FCT minister and the governor. It is the governor and the Constitution. The governor is a threat to our democracy. It is better we all resign and leave the governor and those he wants to use to defraud Rivers people. We cannot continue to allow this to happen. We sit here, elected people, and we cannot follow, we cannot enforce the Constitution. Then why are we here? Why are we sitting here? Why were we elected? For how long are we going to allow this to happen? Distinguished colleagues, enough is enough. If they want us to forget the legislature, we leave the legislature. Let only the governor and the deputy governor spend as they like and eat our money and do as they like. Why were we elected? Why do we have the legislature? Why can't we be allowed to do our job? Distinguished colleagues, I thank you for your contributions. We will follow this impeachment process through.
You know be God though. I don't like for you. Weekend and lager.
You know, the sights and sounds on social media, that's just a little we could bring to you. There's so many reactions.
I feel bad
so many
that I'm
videos
entertained by this, especially with the music. The one thing you can't take away is the beautiful music that the people of Rivers State have. It's interesting. But let's go back to the meat of the story. The Amewule-led assembly and the drama that ensued. Now, for the second time, you recall that before the emergency rule was declared in Rivers State, this was how it all began. The clash between the executive governor of Rivers State and the lawmakers in Rivers State, with them saying that they were going to impeach him and attempt to impeach him with allegations with the demolition or the collapse of the assembly complex and their allegation that the governor was behind it, with them moving into a quarters, still attempting to impeach the governor, eventually them announcing that they were leaving the party to the People's Democratic Party, then later claiming that they did not leave because can anyone prove that they actually left the party? You know, and then they came back. And the president had then at this point set up his own assembly. He had then appointed his own speaker. The government had appointed their own speaker. The president had, the governor had presented his budget to this new speaker, the three of them.
3 members.
And then the old assembly came back and said, this is illegal. This is not a duly constituted assembly. They fought the whole back and forth, and then the president had to step in and declare a state of emergency.
When they carried out the LG elections.
Yes, local government elections
in
October.
That won all.
But one.
You know, but one. You know, and then there were fingers pointing to... Oh.
So my question is, if they say that the governor they're accusing the governor of gross misconduct, I don't quite understand what gross misconduct means. Can they state in clear terms?
They stated
what exactly, what the spending is? Did the government not present the budget? They're asking the government to represent the budget.
They're using the budget of Vice Admiral Ibas, that it only expires in August of 2026, so it covers him.
No, the person saying that,
yes.
Let me just reiterate clearly. The person saying that is the APC in response to the Rivers State House of Assembly and the FCT minister that the budget is what the Rear Admiral Ibok Etebas left, and that the governor can use it. It covers it until August 2026. But the House of Assembly is saying, no, that is wrong. He's supposed to come and represent so that they can look at it, which numbers, you know, initially was 800 and something billion. Now it's about 1.4 something trillion that they want him to come and represent so that they can approve of it. But then again, just to mention, the impeachment saga has 8 allegations, 8, and 8 of them, one of them is reckless and unconstitutional expenditure of public funds. That's what they're accusing him of. Unconstitutional misappropriation of public funds, that's number 2.
Is it the same?
No, the first one is reckless. The first one is reckless and unconstitutional. The second one is unconstitutional misappropriation. Maybe the monies, the budgets, the inflation, and so on. The third one, hindering the Rivers State House of Assembly from performing its constitutional duties. The fourth one, illegal appointment of persons without allowing for screening by the House of Assembly as provided by the Constitution. I want to pause here at number 4. Didn't the sole administrator appoint people? Were they screened?
No, but the Constitution had been temporarily suspended. So, being a state of emergency,
so now that
the State of Assembly was...
Have they decided to change those people?
True. Are the appointees still there? Yeah.
Anyway, 5, seizure of salaries and funds meant for Assembly members. He gave them 100,000 naira now for the holiday.
No, that's a bonus. And I'm not sure about the seizure of
I don't know about that, but he gave them something. 6, seizure of salaries of the clerk of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Emeka Amadi. 7, okay, I remember that name. 7, refusal to implement provisions of the Constitution on financial autonomy of the legislature and the judiciary. And then 8, withholding of funds meant for the running of the Rivers House of Assembly Service Commission and hindering its activities. So when you hear the Speaker, Martin Zamawole, speak with so much annoyance, anger, say, maybe we should just leave this place for them, let them run it and use the money they want to use. You can see where the counts are coming from. You see
because a lot of it has to do with the running of the River State House of Assembly.
Everything that we see here and we will see is based on this and control. Those two things, control and that. But I have a big question for us as we segue and move on. The current, the FCT minister and of course the members of the Assembly and its supporters say that Fubara, the governor of River State, is changing the structure. Is dismantling it and they will not allow that. But the APC has also mentioned that now that the current governor you see there on the screen is a member of the APC, he is now known as 001.
Yeah, he's the leader of the party in the state. Yeah.
And someone from the presidency who works closely to the president, I'm talking about...
but the FCT minister disagrees though. He says it's 01 of his ward.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to. Yes, the FCT minister says 01, but the presidency has said that anybody who ports, let me use that word port for want of clarity for those who are watching understand port better, to the APC automatically becomes the 001, especially if the person is a governor. And in a recent outing, they mentioned Governor Borowori. He moved. Remember that others in Delta State had no choice, but they came out and said, okay, we're going to align with you and with your new structure. You also have Governor Umo Eno in Akwa Ibom. Another said, we're aligned with you. Umo Eno even said, if you can't align, resign. And some quickly resign.
You can't align, resign.
You know, I mean, that's how we play words, man. Olive, stop. Let's focus. Come on. And that's what he said. And people quickly did that. So why would River State be different? Why should it be different? If Governor Simona Fubara is now 001, it means that Wike's structure will have to be what? Collapse. Because take note, Wike's structure is a PDP structure. Simona Fubara is an APC structure, which is fresh. So it has to align with the center. So why is the FCT minister, why doesn't he want it to align with the center?
The FCT minister said it, that he doesn't want him to return for a second term. So all of this that is happening, it's inconsequential. As long as he doesn't nurse any ambition of coming back, he'll be fine. And that's the only thing he's asking for. Whether he's the best performing governor in Nigeria or not, whether the streets of rivers are paved with milk and honey, he doesn't care as long as this man
doesn't come for a second term. And why is that?
And that's it. That's just the problem.
I mean, there are those who allege that the reason why he would fight tooth and nail to ensure that the governor does not come back for a second term is because of the...
Agreement is agreement.
No, that's not even just that. That's one. But the reason why the agreement is there in the first place, apart from egos being bruised, is because of the potential of him desiring to run for presidency in future. And you know that whoever controls the structure of the state, if the governor comes back for a second term, that solidifies him as being in charge of the state structure. And that might affect his chances of
and he said he'll be politically dead.
Yeah, to run for president. But these are all the different analysis that people have regarding this. Let's head to X and see what Nigerians are saying about the purported attempted impeachment of Governor Simona Fubara.
That's what they call boom boom pow.
Wow.
English.
Spirit of Odumeje. Let's see what Nigerians are saying on X about this allegations of impeachment. Fubara deflected. Deflected.
Fubara deflected football. He's mixing it. Okay, I understand. AFCON is on, so he's mixing the lexicons.
Fubara defected to APC because of Wike, and APC will never allow Fubara to be impeached. And besides, State Chief Judge is loyal to Governor, so Wike's political dominance in Rivers may be coming to an end gradually. Which APC, the Wike faction or the Tinubu faction or the INEC-approved faction? Wait, does the Tinubu faction differ from the Wike faction? I'm not understanding.
I mean, is Wike is not a member of the FCT minister is not a member of the...
Neither is he a member of the PDP, according to some PDP members. How can someone in opposition PDP want to impeach APC governors? Wonders shall never end. And APC National says Fubara is the leader. APC State says Fubara is the leader. Rivers House says Fubara is a mistake. The battle isn't between parties anymore. It's between the past and the present. 7 days to the impeachment deadline. Let the games begin, Prince says. I said it, that Fubara had gained immunity simply by joining APC. Ihechukwu Ngumezi says.
This is the principle of deodorization.
So when you come, we spray your sins away. But what you think about this is very important. Let us know on YouTube. We're streaming live. Drop your thoughts in the chat box to let us know what your thoughts and your predictions about how this will end. Is there really peace anytime soon in Rivers State, or is it, or adio papa that we're about to see for some persons in Rivers State? We're streaming live on News Central Live. We've taken the comments of Lenny Ikwere, Victor Okebata, and Lilian Oloha. We're taking a few more comments as the show progresses. But gentlemen, any final thoughts before we wrap up Wake Up Conversation?
No, I mean, we have our guests who are joining us, seasoned analysts will be joining us.
So we'll look at the legality and everything
the legal aspect of it. I know you're supposed to put, part of the thing is you're supposed to send a notice of allegation. It will take 14 days
for the governor to respond.
Yeah, the legal professionals to handle that.
All right. Before we bring in this...
there might also be a political solution before that. Orders can come from the above, from above, knowing that the House of Assembly members and the governor are both APC, so they could use internal dispute mechanisms from Abuja to settle it. And then the FCT minister cannot sit in that meeting because he's not a member of the APC. So there will be an in-house solutions to prevent this from blowing overboard. Let's see how things are. I mean, it's just a suggestion.
Let's now bring what our headlines are, and after this, we'll get into the conversation proper with our guests. This morning on Breakfast Central, our top stories. Rivers State Assembly begins impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Rivers APC rejects impeachment process against Governor Fubara. That is still part of the conversation we're looking at this morning. I'll be looking at tax tension easing as Nigerians slowly adjust to controversial bill. Overflowing dump on evacuated waste pose worry in Karu. We'll be bringing you that update. And the newspaper front pages will form a part of the show today. Join us for all these and more. Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Across parts of the Federal Capital Territory, waste management remains a growing concern. Residents in the Karu satellite community of Abuja say that despite repeated calls to authorities responsible for the evacuation, the situation has witnessed no change. Now, an unevacuated refuse dump along the busy stretch of road situated in the Karu community has continued to expand, spilling onto the road and disrupting movement. Beyond inconvenience, locals fear the health risks posed by the stench. Flies and rodents have now become a common sight and experience in the area. Questions around enforcement and monitoring of waste evacuation within the FCT are now being asked by many, demanding urgent answers. Our correspondent Sumaya Abubakar reports.
This is the common sight now in the FCT, where you go every area and you see dump sites piling in the middle of the road. Here in Karu, of course, it is no exception. There's been lots of complaints, and we've seen the FCT administration make some efforts in showing that, of course, they are listening to the people. Yet, nothing has changed.
Gaskiya ba ma jin daɗi saboda abun yana damu mu. Tuntun ma kin ga lokacin damunan nan ba karamin abun nan muke ji ba. Muna perceiving all those things yayi too bad gaskiya. But nobody is doing anything.
Idan aka kwashi za mu ci gaba da zuba shi a wajen. Saboda babu inda za a zuba shi ne, dole sai dai a nan din ne za a zuba shi. Akwai gurare a ciki. Sharan ne yayi hai ne da yawa, shi yasa ya zo yayi blocking din hanya.
Now, what should be the basic amenities, which is the clean and healthy environment, has now become a campaign promises where political parties now use in order to garner the support and vote of the FCT residents. Will this change, or will this truly be used as a campaign promise? In Abuja, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
Very professional report there from Sumaya Abubakar. I wonder how she was able to deal with that stench in close proximity to it. And you can hear what the residents are saying, that, I mean, it's one of the most basic. You shouldn't even think about it, that your refuse won't be cleared. But that's the FCT, the seat of power. And unfortunately, not just that area. This is a sin that replicates itself in many parts of the FCT. And you're wondering, who are those in charge? What's the Federal Capital Territory Authority doing about this? What's the FCT minister and those in charge doing about this eyesore? It's not just an eyesore, it also poses a health risk to individuals and the community there, because, you know, could easily spread disease and what have you. And what we've been hit with is radio silence from the city officials. Why is this not happening? Who's responsible for this? And is there a timeline on when they will clear this garbage?
And why this is an embarrassment is because Abuja is the nation's capital. You know, the way that you judge, there are certain markers by which you judge a country. First, when you get to their airport, when you are landing in a new country, you assess the airport and it gives you a sense of what the country is like.
It's like a doormat to a house. You know what to expect.
Exactly. So it's your first impression. Then after the what they call it, the airport, the state's capital, the nation's capital, is the next thing you look at. So when people come into Nigeria, when you hear what is the capital of Nigeria, Abuja, there is a certain standard for a country like Nigeria that has, you know, with the population, with the influence that we have on the continent of Africa, there's certain things that we don't expect to see in our nation's capital, like that level of refuse dump. And I hope that it's fixed quickly, because these are the markers by which the administration of the FCT minister would be analyzed, whether you like it or not, especially because of what he's been seen doing in River State. People would ask,
be judged by
why is he in River State?
in Abuja, not River
and not
State.
in River State. Why is he?
That's his portfolio.
Exactly. Why is he in River State and his own state is falling apart?
Let me even shock you. There's an award called the State. It's called actually State of Nigerian Environment.
Yeah.
That's Stone. State of the Nigerian Environment, Stone Awards. At the end of every year, they rank states that are the cleanest. Akwa Ibom State has won that award 8 consecutive
Well deserved.
years.
Well deserved.
Followed by
Ebonyi.
and shockingly, Enugu as well. And they win what is called the Unbroken Green Crystal Award. It
It's not shockingly. It's not shockingly for Enugu. Peter Amba has been working.
I'm coming.
It's shockingly for me.
It's shocking.
No, Peter Amba. It's shockingly Enugu State too.
No, Enugu
Peter Amba has been working.
Yeah, it's been working. And Enugu,
it's shocking because, okay, look at the way we're talking about it. Shouldn't Abuja be number 1?
You're right.
The seat of power,
where the
presidency
is.
But Akwa Ibom has beat Abuja to it 8 consecutive times.
I'm curious to know Lagos rating.
I would go through that listing.
Lagos is not in it.
But I can tell you this for free.
What do you mean?
That,
you should be comparing Lagos with cities that have equal population density. Maybe Dhaka in Bangladesh.
I will not agree with you there
in India.
Because if you go to China,
Lagos is the commercial capital
the
of Nigeria.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't say that to make an excuse for Lagos's condition. I'm just saying, let's measure. And that population is not an excuse. Because if you go to China, for example,
it's clean.
It's clean.
Besides,
you go to Sao Paulo,
we are the commercial
Brazil,
capital.
It's clean.
So we also have a reputation to protect. Anyway.
I really don't understand.
We'll be moving away from this conversation about Abuja and as we get updates regarding the waste situation, because we will continue to follow it. Our responsibility is to mount pressure on the government to do what needs to be done. And as we get feedback regarding it being cleared or being left there, we'll come back to tell you here on the show. But let's now move on to talk about tax. The federal government has launched the new tax policy, stating that it is designed to boost revenue, reduce dependence on oil, and strengthen the economy. But for many Nigerians, the concern isn't just about paying more. It's about where the money is going and how it's being managed. Public reaction has been deeply divided, while some analysts see the reform as a necessary step toward fiscal responsibility. Others warn it could worsen the cost of living crisis and stifle small businesses already struggling under inflation and weak purchasing power.
Well, let's also tell you that critics are also calling for greater transparency and accountability, arguing that citizens deserve to see clear evidence that tax revenues are being used to improve public services and infrastructure. But guess what? We decided to go to the streets and ask a cross-section of Nigerians what they know about the tax laws. Take a look.
Yes, I believe that when there is tax, I think that there will be improvement. I believe there will be a better Nigeria. So, and I believe the government is also should also be held responsible to orientate people about the tax, let them understand the well-meaning Nigerians. Some of them understand what it is, some don't know. So the people don't know, let them give them a proper orientation of what the tax stands for and how they are going to stand to benefit with the tax. But for me, I understand what it is. I trust the process. We are looking into, we are trusting that the administrators that are involved, the key players are involved, that they will maximize or use this tax very well to create a better Nigeria for us.
Yes, because I feel in the nearest future it will be useful, but for now, to grow their purse. Our leaders are full of promises. They don't keep to it. I'm very certain, you see this tax, some of their children will use it to go to Harvard. It's certain.
I'm totally against it. Let me tell you, brother, I live in the ghetto. People are totally against this tax. They are afraid because the hardship is enough. Do you know? I mean, they on MTN, do you know what they are doing? They deduct money anyhow, data. They say 1 gig, it's not 1 gig. You understand? Crazy bees are everywhere. What's the difference of government? So we don't work on it. They should just cancel it first and give us a good government. They should cancel it, provide job for people. Let things go down. Let people know that, okay, this what if you start paying this tax, this is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to enjoy. Then people will welcome it.
If the resources will be used channeled towards building the society, the Nigerian economy, you understand, the environment and all, fine. It's nice, but it has to be cut down because what I'm seeing there is really, really outrageous.
I'm a supporter of this new tax law. As a progressive, definitely it's going to help our economy and it's going to develop the nation in entirety.
And now joining us to help unpack this is Chief Economist at SPM Professionals, Paul Alaje. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Beautiful morning to you, and thank you so very much for having me.
All right, let's get straight to it. Let's break down the key challenges in this, or key changes, you will say, in this new tax law. What's new? Who will it affect the most? Especially, again, the issues about the alleged discrepancies. But it seems that we've moved past this.
Yeah, fairly speaking. First of all, like I said, when the Tax Act, before it became an act, it was a bill. And I can remember that I was in one of the town hall meetings. Also, I was part of the meetings beyond the town hall meetings. Some of my observations were made at that level, and I can mention to you that they were clearly taking account, they were clearly taken into account, because some of the things that were of concern, even not all, they were adjusted. And so to that extent, I think the tax team, they listened to a large extent. And I've also seen that this new tax law, there are some level of improvements to compare to the old. It has made provision for unification of taxes, unlike where we pay multiple taxes before now. So those who are doing, who are supposed to pay taxes, from personal income tax to pay as you earn, it has clearly defined what individual should pay under the personal income tax. It has also clearly defined what should be paid for company income tax. For those that have large company, the tax rate reduced from 30% to 25%. For small businesses, which of course I think the tax authority will need to now clarify, whether if you have an asset less than 250 million or you have a turnover less than 100 million, then you may not need to pay taxes. What you do is perhaps to make sure you do your filings as at when due. So we can also see that the tax law has made provision for some key sector, even though this is not new. For instance, those in agri, if you're in agriculture, the tax has given you exempt for about 5 years, which is good. Then if you're in manufacturing, there are some charges that has been waived to a large extent. You also have those who were before now paying VAT. They cannot even claim VAT they've paid back. Today, it has been rated zero VAT, and so many other good things that are in the tax law. And I will not cease to mention that this tax law at its benefits, even though there are still a few concerns. Like many laws, they may not be perfect. I don't see this as one that is perfect. And I'm happy that the committee lead has also mentioned that, yes, it's not a perfect law, but we can make it a work in progress. So from this month, it is clear that the implementation will start. One thing we have seen is that FRS is now defunct. We now have National Revenue Service, which perhaps has to do with the nomenclature, which has changed. You will start seeing those changes in letters that have been sent before now in FRS. You start seeing branding, which is the beginning. And I heard the chairman of the Revenue Service who had mentioned that this new tax law may not be fully implemented in a year. And I can tell you that I'm particularly happy that he said that, because these have brought a lot of concerns. For someone like me who is in the midst of people, I can tell you that people have a lot of concern whether we are going to just flush this hook, line, and sinker at once. The truth is, education cannot stop about this tax law. And I'm happy your station is also giving quality time to this tax law even at this time. So he had mentioned that it may take a period of 5 years before government can fully implement this. And that means that if there are things to be amended before these 5 years, I want to believe the authorities will want to open their mind into accepting this. There are a number of things that authority has also mentioned that people should not worry about. For instance, it was mentioned that people will start paying VAT. I mean, they will start paying 5% tax when they buy PMS. I think it has been cleared that that will not start, because honestly, it's not the best thing to do right now. A VAT increase before now, it was mentioned, it's part of the recommendation I gave, that I don't think we should do any form of increase in VAT. But this does not mean the law does not have its own concerns or its own challenges. And I'm hoping that those challenges that you have made available to those who are in charge, they will implement quickly, they will consider, they will review. Then we can say that the things that are giving concerns to people, we might need to make adjustment. Just yesterday I saw on television, today I will pick the report properly and read, where KPMG was said on one of the national television stations from their report that this tax law may lead to a national capital flight. And when you see the law, you notice that, especially from those that are in the markets, that's the capital market, that he has introduced a tax to increase that in order to meet up with what is obtainable in the corporate income, so that they want to do a matchup. But you see, the risks are different. In capital market, you can make the gain overnight, you can lose overnight. When people got wind of this, you saw what happened to the capital market almost immediately. These are things that I think authorities will need to consider. This is one of the many things I think authorities will need to consider in the coming period. Because when people come into Nigeria to invest, our market is one of the areas they invest in. And it's easy for us to quickly compare ourselves to what is happening in Germany, what is happening in Dubai, in the UAE, what is happening. But we need to compare that with the kind of development, kind of education, kind of business, financial awareness in those markets. Like I said, we cannot do this just in a day or in a year. It may take it may take some period of time before we get this structure properly.
Absolutely, Mr. Laje. And we're dealing with the effects of the day after, and it's a continuous process. We'll continue to learn and cross T's where we have to and dot I's. But what we've witnessed, and we sent a crew out to feel the pulse of Nigerians from that vox pop we played earlier. And the recurrent theme is the public's response, is the call for transparency. People want to know where their money is going to and what will happen to their money. Is it going to increase the number of vehicles in public officials' convoys? Because we've seen the Nigerians don't pay subsidy on fuel anymore, and they're wondering, where did all the savings go? What have we gained from this removal of subsidy? So in order to ensure compliance and to get the buy-in of majority of Nigerians, what should the Nigerian Revenue Service and the tax authorities be doing right now to assuage the fears of Nigeria beyond talking? You are not ordinary Nigerian like us, so it's not just talking. What can they do to prove that, look, this time around you will reap the benefits of paying your taxes?
Less has to be done by the tax authority, more has to be done by our leaders, our politicians. Tax authority has a responsibility from the Act to collect taxes and send that to government. Now, what government does with the revenue generated has less to do with the tax authority, be it the committee or the NRS, I beg your pardon. It has nothing to do with them. So people that should be responsible in terms of proper administration of revenues that is given will remain the federal, the state, and the local government. What percentage of our revenue, the tax-generated revenue, must go into infrastructure? What is the expenditure that government is spending, especially on non-capital? These are things that can either encourage Nigerians or discourage Nigerians because of this new tax law. The good news is that if government spend this money correctly and people can see measurable improvement, in now telling people we want to advance in implementation, there will be a high level of compliance. But if there is no difference, especially when it comes to what we are doing with road, rails, what we are doing with energy, power supply, and life is relatively difficult, if government talks about even further increasing those, I can confirm to you that the people in some areas who are not as aware as those of us in this conversation, they may have some level of resistance. So that such resistance does not exist. That is why our advisory will be that, yes, tax authority will do their job, but politicians, especially those who are making laws, can come up with a law to say that in the light of what is happening to the tax law, what there are things that we must do in order to make life relatively better for Nigeria, and especially as it has to do with the economies.
Anyway, I'm sure Nigerians were waiting to see all of these things. Unfortunately, we'll have loved to go further with more questions, but we're just out of time. I want to thank you sincerely for taking out time to join us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's move away from that. Let's go straight to another interesting story. This time, we're going to tell you about it all over again, but it's got to do with Rivers State, the Rivers State House of Assembly, as they begin the impeachment process of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring to you that story and more.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Rivers State politics lives up to its reputation for high drama and uncertainty as the Rivers State House of Assembly has once again opened the impeachment file on Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu, pushing the state deeper into what is becoming a very familiar political storyline in the oil-rich state. During plenary on the 8th of January 2026, Speaker Martin Zamewule presided as lawmakers read a notice of gross misconduct endorsed by 26 Assembly members. The charges range from the demolition of the Assembly complex, recall that drama, to unauthorized spending without legislative funds and alleged disobedience of a Supreme Court order.
Let's tell you that the APC in Rivers State has, however, rejected the impeachment, warning that the move could destabilize the state as they brand it politically motivated. Now, this is the second impeachment attempt in under a year, following a failed move in March 2025, born out of the fierce power tussle between Fubara and you-know-who. The power tussle that forced President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to declare a state of emergency, temporarily benching both the governor and the lawmakers. Now, under the Constitution, the impeachment process must still pass through due process, including investigations, 14-day notice, and so on and so forth, and also fair hearings before any final vote can happen. But let's break it down today here on Breakfast Central for the next 1 hour or less. Joining us is constitutional lawyer Evans Ofeli, who joins us from outside Nigeria. Good morning to you, Evans, and thank you for joining us this morning. We also have joining us PDP chieftain. Good morning. We also have a PDP chieftain in Rivers State, former member of the Rivers State House of Assembly that's currently bothered with the actions of the sitting governor. We have Honorable Collins Odu, who joins us as well. Good morning to you, Honorable.
Good morning, and good morning, Nigerians.
Great. And last but not the least, well, actually the least for this conversation, is TAF Africa, and of course, a political analyst, you like to call him that, one who's very interested in the River State issue in crisis. Dr. Jake Epele joins us as well. Good morning, and thank you for being here.
Morning, thank you for having us.
All right, so it's a full house. It means we're going to ask, please, gentlemen, that you make your responses as short and precise as possible so we can have a fuller conversation. I'm going to start first with you, Dr. Jake Epele. Permit me to start from your end. Did you see this coming? Did we see this coming? We had thought that after the agreement was signed with the president, number one citizen, there wouldn't be any back and forth. It would just be a simple case of follow the mandate, well, as it were, and everything will be well.
Yes, of course. If you look at the body language of the generality of the peace that was brokered, all the players, you could see even from the picture somebody who is present, but his spirit was totally absent. Whether it's Martin Amewule or Wike himself, or even Fubara, you know, they were just, it was very obvious that there's a rift and conflict of interest. So yes, it was very expected what is happening. What is not palatable is the fact that these bunch of politicians have decided that we are going to be the enemies of River State, and that's what they are playing out right now.
Okay, let's bring in Mr. Honorable Odu into the conversation, and let's ask you about this. There have been allegations of against the River State governor. The allegations against him being that, you know, there's been some form of misconduct. One would assume that the moment the River State governor moved to the All Progressives Congress, which of course is having the president as the #1 person in the party, the #1 person whom the former governor, Nyesom Wike, is firmly behind. One would assume that now it's Kumbaya, or one big happy family. What happened? What went wrong? Mr.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Yes. What went wrong is the fact that we're having a repeated occurrence of what has been settled. You see, recall that this truce has gone on for about 3 times now. And currently, after the state of emergency was lifted, the House of Assembly extended an olive branch to the governor and said, look, yes, we have looked at the budget being approved by the National Assembly for the interim administration. We believe that it may not rhyme with what you want to do. For us not to go into this drama of rascality and disobedience to the Constitution, can you present a supplementary budget to cover up for what you insist on? As I speak with you now, the governor has not done it. And these assembly members from their constituents have been able to identify several projects that is being embarked upon by the governor that has not been legislated on. And it is not also in the budget passed by the National Assembly for the interim government. So it boils back to the fact that they are back to square one of flagrant disobedience to the rule of law, to the Constitution, and the idea of presenting the budget or spend from budgets being approved. So I think this is where they missed it. An evidence to the fact that the governor is spending out of budgeted provisions is the fact that the House of Assembly members got or received 100,000 naira as Christmas benefit. They sent it back to him and wrote to him that, look, this amount you are.
Hello, Honorable Collins Odu, are you there? We would have really liked to hear the conclusion of your thoughts. Okay. Honorable Odu, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay.
I'm here.
We lost connection with you when you were speaking about the 100,000 naira that was credited to them as Christmas allowance. You could pick up from there, please.
Okay, thank you. That when the governor sent Christmas like chairs to them, 100,000 naira each person, and they wrote back to him and said, look, for you to present a supplementary budget for us to approve for you, this funds you're sending to us, we have not appropriated it. Therefore, it is illegal for us to spend this money or for you to even send it to us. We don't want to get involved in illegitimate or unconstitutional activities. Therefore, we are refunding it back to you. And they refunded it back to you. One would have expected at this point the government close the brands and perhaps do what is the needful. So I think this is where the extent that you recall that yesterday the speaker said that Rivers State is the only state that so far has not gotten its state budget presented to the assembly for approval in the whole of Africa. How can we be getting negative reports? First and foremost, let me even say this. After the Supreme Court judgment and the description the Supreme Court judgment gave to the governor, one wouldn't expect the governor to go this route any longer. This is a flagrant and consistent behavior that may not change.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Order. I'd like to bring in the legal practitioner into this picture, Barrister Evans Ofeli. Now, Barrister Evans Ofeli, what's the legal process for the impeachment of a sitting governor in the 1999 Constitution? Beyond the politics, having observed what's happening in Rivers State currently.
Yeah, that is provided for under Section 188 of the 1999 Constitution, which spells out processes and procedures that must be followed by the State House of Assembly before they can impeach the governor. And the first part of it is that they have to give him a notice of impeachment. Discussing it in the House and having it covered by the press, it does not amount to notice of impeachment. It has to be in writing, and it has to be served on him. Then there is a specified time within which he needs to respond. And he can either respond by himself or through a legal practitioner of his choice. Then when that is done, first of all, 1/3 can come up with that notice of impeachment. 1/3 of the House members. Okay? Then when it is served, they will constitute themselves and go to the next step. Okay? The next step is for them to appoint a committee that will look into the activity of the governor. Respected persons of the state, statesmen, independent of the National Assembly, of the House of Assembly, that will look into the activity of the allegations so alleged, okay? And when they look into that allegation, if they find that the governor truly has infractions, and such infractions are contrary to the Constitution, then they will report back to the House, okay? But where there are no infractions, the impeachment process will end where the committee finds out that there are no infractions. It will end there. Okay, where there is, then it go back to the House. Then, by 2/3 majority, there will be a vote, okay, the House members to declare the governor impeached, okay, in which case he will have to leave office. But this process must be followed through, because all impeachments we've had in Nigeria, we had the highest number of impeachments in 2006, wherein a lot of persons were impeached to be in Ekiti, in Oyo, and all that at that time. The last we had in the scale of impeachment in Nigeria for a deputy governor in Edo State. And most of these impeachments have been challenged in court. And the court have always upturned them because most of the impeachment were carried out wrongly. Some were carried out not even at the State House of Assembly, carried out in hotels, carried out in strange places, and the rest of that. The Rivers State government so far, the House of Assembly so far, have commenced the process in the way it should be commenced. The notice should be served on the governor. But beyond politics, I don't think that there's anything Fubara will do in that state that will satisfy the State House of Assembly, because there's a hand that is moving their thoughts, I don't think they have their own way, because if Fubara is not presenting budget,
Barrister Freely, please forgive me. I'll have to interrupt at this point because we have to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll pick up from where you left off. Gentlemen, we still have quite a lot to unpack following this high-stake political drama unfolded in Rivers State. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, Breakfast Central will continue shortly. You're welcome back to Breakfast Central on News Central Television. We're currently discussing the impeachment notice served on Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, and we have a panel of gentlemen here to dissect and analyze these issues. I was speaking to Barrister Evans Ofeli before we went on the break. Quickly, just before we move to the next set of panelists, you did say that there's nothing that the governor of Rivers State can do that will satisfy the Rivers State House of Assembly. What about the legality, the issues that Honorable Collins Ordu mentioned? You also talked of an unseen hand that seems to be controlling the thoughts of the members and guiding their directions in Rivers State. Who is this unseen hand? Because if you're referring to the FCT minister, the Honorable Martin Zemewule did say that it has nothing to do with what's happening in Rivers State, that this is purely a legal matter.
The legal issue raised by the speaker before me, Honorable Ordu, I understand exactly what. By the way, I'm from Rivers State, that's a fact, because I was not well introduced. My mom from Rivers State, I was born in Rivers State. At Massive there at the Air Force Base. And so I'm not speaking as an outsider, so that my brothers there will understand. The truth is that if Fubara did not, if Fubara go ahead to send them a budget, they will sit on around and say there's an existing budget. And why should they send the budget? Because they don't have a mind of their own, the State House of Assembly of Rivers State. That's the big issue. As the moment Fubara moved to APC, and established a direct contact with the president, which has been going up and down and saying agreements. Now he's all over the place campaigning in Rivers State, just to ensure that Fubara does not return, to look for a way to take him down and the rest of that. So let's say these things the way they are. I understand the legal issue. He did not present budget. That's also wrong. He should have done that. But I'm saying even if he does that, he's still going to run into trouble. There's nothing he's going to do that's not going to run into trouble as far as he has intention to go for second term. And the Wiki does not want that. He's saying agreement. That's the problem in Rivers State. There's no other thing. He just on the summary. The fact that he present budget, did not present budget and all that could have been issues that they can resolve within themselves. And to say that you want to impeach him because he reflects Supreme Court judgment, that's not an impeachable. Reflecting Supreme Court judgment is contempt. You go back to the court and the court will do what you do, the issue of contempt and all that. And the court cannot go apply that now as the governor here has immunity.
Okay.
So it's quite very clear what's going on in Rivers State. It's better to say it the way it is.
Okay, let's have Mr. Epele, Dr. Epele and Mr. Ordu react to what Mr. Ofeli has just said. You've heard his reason for what is happening in Rivers State and his explanation of the legal implication as well. Let's have you first, Dr. Epele.
Well, let me give a three-dimensional situation analysis of what is happening. Number one is resource control. FCT minister and all the assembly lawmakers and all the political stooges and foot soldiers are just angry and frustrated because they don't have access to the resources of Rivers people, which many of them wants to put in their pocket. And that's the character of crooked politicians. And we're seeing them and seeing their character play out, before everybody's eyes. Number two is power dynamics. The quest to show that I am totally and absolutely in control. The desire to prove to Bola Tinubu that, hey, I'm the main man, you know, the obvious move to establish structures, so-called political structures, often at the expense of the people, you know, that's it. Number 3 is ego tripping. Ego. I want to show him that I am the emperor of River State. I want to show him that I am the sitting governor of River State. You know, ego tripping on both sides. And none of them have taken time to evaluate the impact of this rubbish on the people of River State. I am surprised when Rivers Indigene begins to play politics with people, you know, and not know that history will be very unkind to many of them. It is the people that suffers the most. You know, you're telling me, oh, budget or no budget. That's absolute rubbish. They know what they are looking for. They know what they want to do. They want to suffocate the people of River State. They want to grab the state. They are interested in the resources. Already there's what is making rounds that, oh, there's a 600 billion, you know, whatever. Also, people have made 600 billion budget for election and all that. And here's the point that scares any political pundit, is the fact that I've never seen where APC government is fighting itself. An APC, sitting APC governor that just defected to APC. You have APC lawmakers fighting them. Don't give me that crap about Supreme Court judgment, because even the State Assembly lawmakers are in violation of the Supreme Court judgment. Because one, Supreme Court has said that they did not defect. We have not breathed on that. We've not taken a sigh of relief. All of a sudden, they have defected again. Are they not making nonsense of the Supreme Court judgment? You know, sometimes these politicians think that, you know, we don't have brain. They think that they can manipulate us, you know, and turn it around. It's not about defending anyone. It's about standing and defending the people. Can anybody, whether you are an analyst or a political jobber, can you truly say that this whole move is for the preservation of democracy, is for the preservation of the people of River State? Did we not sit back and watch? Many of us, many of these guys were clapping for Abbas, and this man was cutting away our money. You know, politicians were sharing our money. People that have no business being in River State sat on our resources, depleted it, and had thrown us into debt. Nobody is saying anything. And, you know, Yoson Wike should go and sit in Abuja and run the FCT ministry. You know, he has no business coming to show force and campaign for Bola Tinubu now, when in actual sense 2027 has not even come. You know, yes, I believe in preparation, you know, but are you really truly representing the people? That's the point. And we have to say it the way it is and stop all these shenanigans, stop all this political rascality. It is not helping the good people of River State. We are known to be civil. We are known to be resilient. We are known to be hospitable. And this is not projecting the River State and the Rivers people that I am very proud to be part of.
I mean, let's listen to Honorable react to this as well. Please, but before you do that, we want to beg once again, we need to go on a commercial break. Of course, you know we need to pay the bills. When we come back, Honorable, we'll listen to your reaction. Thank you.
First, I'm taking a decision on what to do.
Welcome back. Also discussing the current issues in Rivers State, particularly looking at the recent one, the impeachment process. Honorable Odu, right before the break, I had asked what your reaction is, listening to the processes that must take place before the impeachment is indeed served. So, can you react to the other statements made by our other distinguished guests, talking about Barrister Ofeli and, of course, Dr. Epele?
Okay. I would like us to be civil while on national television. I take exception to the conspiracy theory and character assassination of the person of the Honorable Minister of FCT. I will want to inform our brother, Dr. Pele, that the Honorable Minister of the FCT is doing very well in FCT, and there are a lot of evidences to that effect. But let us confine ourselves to what is actually the issue. The issues are the fact that the governor has breached constitutional stipulations, and the House of Assembly that he has refused to work in consonance with. He is not the only governor. There are other governors. There are, even left, right, and center, there are governors. I don't think these kind of issues are cropping up, apart from the fact that he's been doing this over and over. The president has intervened severally. We're still going back to the same thing, the disobedience to agreements he signed. If the Honorable Minister is mentioning agreements, every Nigerian will allude to the fact that, yes, there was an agreement before issues were lifted. So let us keep that aside. The Prime Minister is doing very well. He cannot be fingered in whatever is going on. The House of Assembly members, if you said that they are acting under influence, yes, they are. We, the constituents, have told them that the government is not doing well. Because check it. My brother there, Pele, will testify to the fact that Rivers State has been very stagnant. Every day we're discussing one thing. The governor is the driver on this seat. And as a manager, you ought to put the resources available to you to achieve and stop making excuses. That's my take on that.
Okay.
Just to follow up again with you, Honorable Odu, Rivers State, the APC has said they've rejected this impeachment move, that the House of Assembly lawmakers already, have begun. Well, what's your response to that?
It's a constitutional issue. The APC, we've gone beyond parties right now. If somebody has breached the Constitution and somebody has noticed it and has called him to order, this is just to check if he is culpable or he is free. So it is up to him to respond in 7 days or 14 days before a panel will be informed to be constituted. So we've gone past the idea of a party condemning it. I'm not in APC, I'm PDP. So if APC comes to condemn, what if PDP comes to accept? I mean, let's go beyond that and face issues. I don't think that is necessary for now.
Okay, Barrister Ofeli, Honorable Odu says we're dealing with constitutional matters, and we recall that the last time tensions were this heightened in Rivers State politically led to the suspension of the governor and declaration of a state of emergency. How do you see this playing out from a legal perspective?
Rivers State still subsists because whatever attempt the president, using the state of emergency that was illegal, by the way, to do all he did, and then brought in an administrator that further, plundered the state to a point of we can never recognize exactly what has happened. So the politicians of Rivers State do not have any regards for the people. They have no regards for the people. Look at what people have lost under their carelessness. Okay, Wike himself, who is supposed to be a statesman, have no regards for his people, honestly speaking, because an ex-governor, should be able to promote his state, promote peace theory. Okay, he should be at a point where he'll be settling dispute amongst, warring parties. It shouldn't become the dramatic personality itself, the harbinger of violence. Because that's what he's doing. And he's doing that, he's carrying his son all over the place while he's doing that. The boy will stand by him, absorbing everything that man is doing. He's passing it to another generation. And I'm sorry for them, really. I'm really sorry for them. Because the level of damage that they've done in River State, the truncated democracy, they've made River State to lose resources. The people have no bearing any longer. And now we are resuming a second season of this same violence. And these persons don't care about what democracy should, what it portends, and what the future holds for the rule of River State. So I think that because Fubara made a very smart move by joining the APC. Okay. Now he joined the APC, now have direct access to the president. That is Wike's problem. That's why he went to try and say agreement. Which agreement? Which agreement is that? An agreement that you brought under duress to ensure that Fubara does not return, because he was outside, had been taken down. You have to accept everything you are pushing for, and you thought he's a fool. You understand? I mean, the Constitution allows every person. It's not just Fubara that Ute is fighting; it's also fighting the National Secretary of the APC. I hope you are aware. Who is not aware or does not want to take orders from Wike as regards Fubara. And he's going to fight more people. And Wike has no regard for the president as well. That's the truth. Because see, this analysis and conversation cannot be fully discussed without the mention of Wike. Because I heard my brother saying that we should focus on Wike is the hallmark, the fulcrum of this discourse. I mean, if we want to tell ourselves the truth, there's no other way to look at it but to look at it from the standpoint of truth. And if they continue like this, they are going to have more problems. The State House of Assembly should have a mind of its own. That is, you cannot, because I can see that many of them are tired. They are just being pushed to do what they are doing. You look at their countenance, apart from the speaker himself, every other person, they are tired. They've been suspended for 6 months. Now they are back. They are starting another one. But because they have no mind of their own, so they are moving just the way, and that's not the way Nigerian politics is. Compliance. You just have to say yes, yes, yes to everything you're saying, as if you're under military rule. And I don't think that's the way democracy should go. Okay? We should put a halt to this problem. We should put a halt to it. If the Constitution says that a governor has a right to contest, go for a second term, let it be his prerogative to say, I'm going to contest, I'm going to recontest, or I'm not going to contest. Okay? So nobody should tell anybody how River State should be. Nobody owns River State. River State is owned by the rule of River State. Before Wike came, there were governors. Okay? There have been governors that have been head of states, even under the military. Nobody took River State and put it in the pocket and say, until what I say that will happen, that's what will happen. If I don't agree to not, nobody will. No. Because it's going to have problem with the president very soon. We're already at the brink of that. Okay? And that's going to cost him a lot. So the days to come will decide. We will find out how far we can intend to play this politics of self, this politics of grandstanding. That's the only word I say that will happen. And if you don't happen, everyone will be shut down. I don't think this is the right way to go.
To this, as we're slowly running out of time, we'd like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, well said by the lawyer. Let's even delve into this Fubara not presenting budget before the State Assembly, including the snippet of what was agreed. One of the things that was agreed was that Wike was going to call this rascal State Assembly people to order. And there is no way Fubara will present a budget before this State Assembly without Wike's approval. If Wike says no, that is it. And that's exactly what has been happening. He's been remote controlling everything. He's been grandstanding everything. It is him or the highway. And somebody cannot say, let's leave Wike out of this. No. Even Collins, you cannot come on this television and speak your mind without Wike's giving you the approval. That's how manipulative the whole system has become. And, you know, you guys, you politicians, and I'm including Fubara, all of you should leave Rivers people alone. Leave us alone so that we can breathe. The resources of Rivers people is not your personal resources. The political structure of Rivers people are not your personal political structure. Come out. If you're truly going to represent us, we will vote you. And if you're not going to represent us, we will vote you out. Can I say to you that in a free, fair, credible, inclusive election today, if it's held today, in a free, fair, credible election, and you put Wike and you put Fubara will flood him. That is the truth, whether you want to accept it or not. You know, yes, I always say this, for conflict of interest, I am from Opopo. Fubara is from where I come from. But if Fubara is doing the wrong thing, Jake Epele, will be on national television criticizing him, you know. And I'm not saying that he has done everything perfectly, he's perfect. No. However, the point I'm trying to make is that all of you politicians should allow Rivers people to be. The system is too heated that an average Rivers person who are struggling to make ends meet cannot. You're creating unnecessary crisis and tension that ought not to be. And may I use this opportunity as I look through the lens of this camera and call on President Bola Tinubu, you can stop this mess. You can. You can. Because both Fubara, who is now in your camp, and Wike, who is 1 foot in PDP and 1 foot in APC, you know, can be stopped. And the more we allow this thing to play out and say what will be, it will become destructive. It will become destructive. How long will you push us?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's the citizens in Rivers State that, you know, will bear the brunt of this crisis. Unfortunately, we have to come to the end of this conversation, but we hope to invite you again, and we hope that this time it will not be for negative reasons, that there will be a positive way that has been found so that governance can take the front row as opposed to the politicking that we're seeing happening in Rivers State. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. We look forward to having you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We're going to a quick break now, and when we come back, we'll continue with our next conversation. Please stay with us.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Dirty December has just ended, closing one of the busiest travel periods across Nigeria. Marked by increased nightlife, long-distance movements, late-night trips and heavy road use. With higher demand comes higher risk, placing renewed focus on how riders, drivers and ride-hailing platforms manage safety during the festive rush. Ride-hailing company Boat says it monitored travel patterns closely, supported users through technology and relied on safety data to guide its operations during this period. Join us this morning at Breakfast Central is Wayemi Agaduno, Head of Regulatory and Policy for Africa at Boat, to reflect on what the company observed and how safety measures performed and the lessons shaping mobility as the new year begins. A warm welcome to you, Wayemi. Thanks for joining us on Breakfast Central.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Now, Wayemi, Dirty December has just ended. I'm sure you also participated and had a great festive period, unlike us here, that we had to work through the holidays. It was another busy, very, very busy period for movement across Nigeria. What did Boat observe during this time?
Yeah, we were as busy as you were. We worked all through. Yeah, we worked all through.
Good to know we have comrades.
Yeah, you do have comrades. Because essentially we had to be there to ensure that we are providing 24/7 customer support and ensuring there were no hitches or any like technical difficulties in booking rides during the December period. Because during Dirty December, that's when we have the highest surge with rides. So what we recorded and what we noticed was movement across cities driven by concerts, nightlife, airport runs, social events. We saw a clear spike in trips, particularly during the late nights hours between 9 and the early morning, 9 p.m. and early morning. And what stood out for us was how much the riders relied on ride hailing, sensing, feeling like the safety around, they just felt it was faster, it was more reliable, and it was safer for them to move around that time. So these were our peak periods during the Dirty December. So it just reinforces for us the importance of having a structured, technology-driven mobility system in the country.
I'm trusted. But how did Bolt support riders and drivers throughout this high mobility period? I mean, the drivers, they may have worked round the clock. You just said from 9 p.m. all the way, say, to 6 a.m. What was the support they got? And then the riders too, safety and so on and so forth.
All right, so one of the key features that we have is compulsory periods. So once our drivers are logged onto the app, they get logged out after 12 hours. Right, so whether you like it or not, you'll be kicked off the app after 12 hours to ensure you get rest. So drivers, they know how to plan their movement, and the drivers already understand our system, so they know the peak periods, they know when they have surge, when they have high demand, so they know when to come online. But above all that, we ensure that we strengthen driver availability around the key hotspots. We monitor trip patterns in real time. We amplify safety communication to both riders and drivers, and our operators, our support team, were also on high alert. So we had faster response time, continuous monitoring. The goal was simple, to make sure people could move freely well, being protected. And we wanted to be sure, I wanted our riders to know that they were protected, so there was constant communication.
All right, now let's look at safety. Both Safety Index report provides insights into how Nigerians view safety in ride-hailing. How would you say those insights were reflected during Dirty December?
Well, we can say our safety index. So for safety, right, I would say what we really noticed was customers just wanting more support when it came to locating drivers. So we didn't really have incidents around safety this season. One notable highlight in our app was our dashcam feature, which allowed drivers to use their smartphones and dashcams. We currently have the highest adopted globally, with over 1,500 drivers already using the feature. So we also have the trip recording feature on, and which was trusted by our riders. So all of these features supported, and these tools promoted transparency and accountability during the late night trips.
Now, still staying on the subject of safety, beyond technology, how does Bolt collaborate with other stakeholders on safety? What should riders, your customers, have at the back of their mind when they patronize your services, Bolt, in terms of safety?
It's important for our riders to know that we're by your side on every ride. That's our slogan, and that is what we push and strive to do. Now, once you get on a trip, once you log on and you stay online, please, once again, we like to reiterate, riders, please take your trips online. And when your trips are online, just know it's being monitored. We do the check-ins. You can share your trip. You can turn on your trip recording. The drivers can use the dash cam. You can also use your dash cam. We want to know that you have 24 hours, 24/7 customer support. We're always there watching. And even before you get on a trip, please be assured that we've done our driver verification. We also want our drivers to know that we're verifying our riders as well. So we're also improving our safety measures on every trip.
Okay, well, I just want to follow up on that. Regarding, I hear you insisting that riders take the trips online. As with many ride-hailing apps, some of the complaints that we hear would be that sometimes some drivers insist that they want to take the ride offline for whatever reason. If that happens, how should a rider handle that?
So once the driver tells you that they want you to do an offline trip, what you have to do is cancel the trip. At the point of cancellation, you're going to see different options for your reasons for cancellation, and you're able to pick the driver asked me to do an offline trip. Once you click that, it's automatically flagged to high priority channel, and then they pick it up with the riders, and then you're able to book another ride. And once that is already logged on your app, they try to pair you with top drivers that we know are, responsible and always take rides or take trips without declining or asking for offline trips. So we now try to match you to available drivers that fall within those top drivers. Sometimes it might take longer because they might be busy or engaged. But what we now start doing is start to filter the system to ensure that you're paired with a good driver and drivers that we haven't received complaints about demanding offline trips. And then subsequently, even when you have issues with a driver, our algorithm is pushed in such a way that you're never paired with that driver again. So those are the measures that we put on the back end.
Okay, so in the month of Dirty December, which is December, of course, the Oblate month, as they call it, what lessons did take away from Dirty December, aside from the regular dance,
Yeah, and then also to add to what my colleague is saying is that there were lots of surges. Is there anything you could do from the customer's side? I know they have the months of January to November, but in December, their pockets really feel it because the surge can be a bit high, and you know what that translates to in terms of finances.
All right, improvements from our side can be supply. So what we always try to do before December is add supply. Add supply means that we try to get more drivers on the platform because this is just a simple game of demand and supply. You have more supply than demand, so automatically the dynamic pricing, begins to alter, and that's where you see a lot of surge. So what we try to do on our side as well is to manage it, to ensure that the surge prices are kept within a limit of affordability, and also ensure that we get more drivers online. Get more drivers within the hotspots. So we're sending comms out to drivers to say, we have more demand in this part of town, move them to this part of town to let them see that, this is where we have demand. So on the back end, there's a lot of tech going in and a lot of dynamic pricing monitoring going in to ensure that, the rides are still, kept at an affordable level. But all in all, it's still a game of demand and supply.
Now, finally, Waimi, what message does Bolt want to leave Nigerians with as we move on, as we start 2026? It's almost 2 weeks into 2026, by the way.
Yeah, for 2026, our mantra will continue that safety. We will continue to push the message of safety. We would like to always reiterate that safe movement should never be optional. We would always do everything within our organization, within the company, with our riders and drivers to ensure that the rides that they get on each trip, we're by your side and, your rides are safe. And the drivers also, it's important for them to know that we care about them and we ensure that our riders are being verified and they're also safe. So whether it's during the festive season or everyday travel, Bolt remains committed to providing reliable, safe and convenient mobility for both riders and drivers. And as we move into the new year, we'll continue investing in safety, partnerships and technology to support Nigerians wherever they're going.
All right. Very interesting conversation. We want to say thank you so much for joining us. As Dirty December approaches, especially for 2026, I think for all of us here in the studios, we're happy to know you. So it would be nice to reach out to you to Debbie.
Why are you looking for Dirty December?
Instead of driving
especially that last question.
Instead of driving myself to the airport, I think I'm going to be using Bolt henceforth.
We should probably have a conversation about Breakfast Central discount code.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
That's late. We should have done this earlier on. We have a lot of discount codes.
We've started now.
Okay.
So I'm training my dance steps. So
I'm doing for Easter.
Fantastic.
We'll pick up from where? We'll pick up off camera. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we look forward to seeing more of the support that Bolt has to offer for riders as well as for passengers and for drivers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to break, and when we come back, there's still more happening this morning on Breakfast Central. Remember, we have the newspapers, and your thoughts and opinions count. We take that through phone calls as well as your comments on YouTube. Please stay with us.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Central. We have a special today on a Friday, the front pages of the newspapers. Joining us this morning, live in the studio, is Public Affairs Analyst, Mr. Dr. John. Welcome.
Good morning. A man of timber and caliber, a man with both federal and state might, and local government might.
Don't let me wicked you.
And on the line, we also have joining us a legal practitioner, of course, one who is outspoken. We call him the human rights speaker. Hey. All right, please put your hands together. Please, ladies and gentlemen, before we say never if you joins us live outside of the studios as usual. Thank you for being here as well.
My pleasure being with you. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
birthday and Happy New Year to you too.
Let's take our paper quickly. This Nigeria is the paper we're looking at, and then we go straight into it. And the front page of this Nigeria, Rivers Assembly dangles, you know, like dangle something, dangle impeachment acts over Fubara deputy. List budget breaches, demolition of chambers among seven scenes of governor states. APC faction calls for ceasefire. Let's start off with in-studio
I think
first.
we should even show the picture on the next page, The Guardian.
Yeah.
Let's show the picture
I like
of The Guardian as
the way
well.
it puts them.
See all the faces there. Can we please put up The Guardian? The Guardian says, Fubara may meet Tinubu as Rivers Road escalates with assembly.
And can our director also put up the list of the 7 cardinal sins he has committed against the assembly members of River State?
7 cardinal sins. Okay, calm down. While we get that ready, let's get okay, there it is.
Number 1.
Spending of public funds, obstructing the River State House of Assembly from performing its constitutional duties, allowing unauthorized persons to occupy public offices without proper screening.
Seeking budgetary approval from a body other than the legitimate River State House of Assembly, withholding salaries and statutory allowances of the House of Assembly and Assembly Service Commission. Next.
This is
so that's all. But I'd like to start with Inibe here. Let him give us a legal perspective to this. Is this political, or has he violated the Constitution? What does the Constitution of Nigeria say about filing impeachment proceedings by state houses of assembly?
Thank you. Section 188 of the 1999 Constitution has outlined the procedure, the modality, and the process of removal of a governor or deputy governor from office. Now, that process entails that a notice of impeachment signed by not less than 1/3 of the members of the House of Assembly has to be served on the Speaker, accusing the governor or deputy governor of gross misconduct in the performance of the duties of their office, which is what has happened. That notice was read on the floor of the House. The Speaker acknowledged it. He has now 7 days to cause that notice to be served on the holder of the office, namely Governor Fubara and his deputy. The governor is expected to reply to the allegations contained in the notice, the allegations of gross misconduct leveled against him. The governor and the deputy must now submit their response in writing, if they so wishes, in respect of the allegations. When that has happened, the matter will now come back to the House for the House to vote whether the allegations of gross misconduct is to be investigated or not. They need 2/3 to pass a resolution calling for investigation of the allegations. Once that resolution is passed, as we anticipate, the Chief Judge of Rivers State must, within 7 days, upon receiving correspondence and communication, upon a request by the Speaker, constitute a panel of 7 eminent persons of proven integrity to investigate the allegations against the governor and the deputy governor. That panel will have 3 months within which to conclude its findings and make a determination whether the allegations have been proved or not. In the course of that panel investigation, the governor is entitled to have representation or to represent himself, to have either legal representation or to represent himself. that is the governor and the deputy governor, where the panel reaches a conclusion that allegations have not been proved, the constitution says the impeachment proceedings shall abate, shall terminate, and no further steps shall be taken. However, if the panel finds the governor and the deputy governor guilty of gross misconduct, they will now communicate their findings to the speaker, who will now table the matter before the House. The House will now vote and may so remove the governor by 2/3 majority of members of the House. That essentially is the constitutional. In the case of the Rivers State House of Assembly, we are yet to see the particulars of the allegations of gross misconduct. Because Section 188 says that gross misconduct has to be a grave violation of the Constitution, a grave or serious violation of the provisions of the Constitution, or any conduct or act which, in the opinion of the House of Assembly, amounts to gross misconduct. However, what the Supreme Court has decided in the case of Inakuja and Deleke and other cases is that in determining whether a conduct amounts to gross misconduct within the purview and contemplation of Section 188, it still has to be tied to the performance of the office of the functions of the office of governor and deputy governor. So the House cannot simply impeach a governor where that conduct does not imperil his office or affect his office, or where the conduct is not such that has basically affected the integrity of the office of governor. And the court outlined several conducts, like criminality, sexual harassment, several things and so on, that the House may deem to be gross misconduct. In this instance, I have read snippets of some of the headings of some of the allegations. They're accusing the governor of failure to present the budget, public expenditure, reckless expenditures of public funds without budgetary approval, allowing persons who have not been approved by Parliament, whose appointment is subject to parliamentary confirmation, to assume functions of those offices. And they also accuse him of failure to abide by the terms of the agreement reached between Minister Wike, Fubara, and at the instance of the president, and so on and so forth. Now, some of these allegations are clearly partisan and political in nature, like the one regarding the agreement with the president. To begin with, I believe as a lawyer, I believe as a person, I believe, and I solemnly so believe, that the issue of the governor failing or alleged failure to abide by the terms of the agreement, the political agreement with the president, cannot be a basis for impeachment, because that agreement ab initio was unconstitutional. No president in Nigeria has the power, has the authority to direct a governor on who to appoint as commissioners to limit the gubernatorial powers of the office functions of the office of governor, which the Constitution itself has donated to the governor. So where, for example, the president says you have to retain certain persons in certain portfolios within the State Executive Council, that failure to abide by that cannot be the basis for impeachment. Regarding the issue of the budget, there is now a dispute between the Amawele-led House and the governor as to which budget is going to be implemented as to the fiscal year. On the one hand, there are claims that the National Assembly had passed a budget during the state of emergency. The governor is saying he's still implementing that. They have even said they are not going to allow him to present a new budget. In summary, in a nutshell, the panel to be set up by the chief judge, if it gets to that point, will then have to examine each of the allegations, particular by particular, fact by fact, on specifics. With particularity, they must bring evidence to substantiate all the allegations. And then the panel will now reach a conclusion on whether those allegations have been proved or not. But at this time, we should not be distracted. What is happening in Rivers State is sad, it is tragic, that governance has taken the backseat, while partisanship, political brinkmanship, and crisis has been elevated in the manner that we have seen. One would have thought by now that some sense of moderation, some decency will prevail.
Right.
But it is now obvious that this was a relationship that was never going to be repaired.
All right, if I may step in at this moment. You've given us the legal background as to why this has happened, and I've also shared some political perspective to it. Just to mention to our viewers that we will go on YouTube and take your comments. We might not be able to take phone calls today, but we will take comments from YouTube or streaming live via News Central TV. Let's come back into the studio and hear from Dr. Ojo. How did we get here? What we assumed was supposed to be a peace accord between the president, the minister of the FCT, the governor of Rivers State, seems to be falling apart. And now the thing that led to the declaration of state of emergency is happening all over again. How did we get here? And what are your projections for what the next steps are?
Is that why New Central put it as season 2?
It is season 2.
Okay, so to be a bit philosophical and political, the Nigeria kind of politics is one that lays emphasis on 2 Ds if you want to be able to play it very well. The first is your dexterity in being able to create a knife, a spoon that is long enough to dine with the devil. And your discipline to be able to dine in a way that the devil will not suspect that you will stab him at the back. So anytime you sign for anybody to support you politically as a godfather, the 2 things you need to learn are the fact that, number 1, you have to learn the dexterity to be able to eat, dine with the devil, and the discipline to be able to do it in a way that your godfather will not think that you will stab him at the back. I won election as a student union president, and my fiercest enemy, who incidentally will happen to be from the same place, he never supported me. He was all over the place. And after winning the election, I remember I was going into the campus, and he met me on the road and said this thing in Yoruba that I will say. He said, the wisdom that you used to build the house is nothing compared to the wisdom you used to live inside the house. And it took me about 3 months to be able to unpack that. So now the fight is not just about Wike and Fubara. You ask how we got to this point. It is the lack of understanding of what the godfather wanted when he was supporting you. It's beyond saying, oh, this man, what did he want from the very beginning? Do you have the character to be able to unite all forces within the government, despite the fact that you have a desire to develop your country? Let me tell you the thing that happened before the 2023 election. There was a man who was the vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and he had this desire. He saw that a lot of things went wrong while his principal was the president. And he was thinking he had the desire to change Professor Yemi Osinbajo. He had the desire to change those things. And he came out to say, I want to run. But again, in the process of declaring, he discovered that his own principal, his own former principal, who actually nominated him to be the vice president, was actually running to be the president. So there's a clash. Yes, there's a clash now between your desire to change what your principal was doing and your character.
All right, let's pause on that clash. We're going to break, and when we come back, we'll still be analyzing what's happening in Rivers State. We still have Dr. Ojo and Inibehe Effiong, who's joining us virtually. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Inibehe, thank you for staying with us. Before we went on the break, you were speaking about the clash between your character and your desire.
So the former vice president had a desire. He saw that a lot of things were wrong while his principal was the president. And as he was about to say, oh, I'm coming to change this thing, his former principal actually entered the ring and said, I am running for the same office. Now there's clash of the desire to do what you want to do and the character to allow your former principal take a stand in the race to run. Now, you must learn how to balance this. So there's a desire in the heart of Fubara, as I've known, that, okay, there were a lot of things that were not done right. And he came out to say, we don't want to even go into details. He felt at a point people have come out to talk about Naira and Kobo. And he felt that, oh, we want to change this. Now, he has to also build the character to tame everybody, the word tame, those people who need to be tamed, and those people who need to be tolerated. There are people I call political portable. I am not going to fight with them. I am not going to fight with them because nobody in record, go look at record, nobody ever fought with such people and came out clean.
So who is the political portable?
I'm just saying there are people like that. And do not allow anybody to, no, this is very clear. Don't allow anybody to drag you, when they want to fight you, to drag you to the place of their own strength. Fubara does not have the capacity to do this public fight that is coming to say, if you want to follow Fubara, don't follow. It's not going to work, I am telling you. So we are in a political situation now And everybody must know that we must not banish the dividend of democracy, that you come to the people in the name of plain politics. And we are not, the blame on ground now is enough to go around. Everybody is wrong. Everybody. The godfather who wants the taxi of development to come through his table is wrong. The godson who cannot manage every component of the disagreement in this thing is also wrong. If you put your hand into paper that you are going to do this, you must also have the character to be able to unite everyone that will make you come across as somebody that is serious. The houses of assembly that are bringing political allegations against the governor, everyone is wrong. So the blame on Granda is enough. Of course, the president must be tired by now. Rivers is one unit of the state. You may begin to talk about what's coming from Rivers, but its unit is not more important than Ondo State. It's not more important than Lagos. At every point in time, are they not even ashamed that they keep running to Abuja?
When you're saying that if you put your hand to paper to say you will do something, you should be able to keep it. That is, Wike's song, agreement is agreement to you. Are you talking about the peace accord or whatever agreement they went into before Fubara got into government?
Okay, so I am not even, the issues have actually overtaken whatever it is that happened before Fubara got into office. Now it's the fact that they sat down and they've had an agreement that this and this are what I'm going to do. Even if you will renege, you must have the character to be able to let people know that you're going to renege. And I say it again. You see, it may sound somehow this morning. At the end of the day, it is the Rivers people that will suffer. Now, in the last 2 years, we know that there were a lot of grants that they were supposed to have covered. They haven't covered it. Now, 1 year is going to, all this back and forth now. He was saying the other time that the committee that will be set up has up to 3 months before they, so add 3 months to it. And if at the end of the day, all the illegalities that are contained in this thing, the committee says, oh, these are illegal, you cannot continue, the House of Assembly will rest. But I tell you, before the end of this year, another crisis will break out. Are they going to continue? So we will now have New Central now say season 3. Is that what we want to have?
Okay, maybe
let's go to Inebe. Well, first of all, what's your take on some of the allegations, unconstitutional use of the funds, not presenting it to them, and not having enough money to run the assembly and so on?
And the 100,000 naira insult.
Yeah, I mean, he gave them 100,000 naira for end of the year package. He said no.
I want to say, I'm still waiting to see the particulars of these allegations. Note that I earlier stated that all that we have seen is a covering letter accompanying the allegations. That is what is in the public domain. Meanwhile, if you saw the letter, they refer to the governor as Madam. I don't know if Fubara is now a feminine gender, that they are addressing him as Madam. I would suppose that is an error on their part, but impeachment is a serious process. Now, some of the allegations are clearly political. The one that I want to be dismissed with a wave of the hand is the one about the agreement with the president. You cannot use that to impeach anybody. Where a president tells the governor, so and so persons must be your commissioner for finance. This person must be your attorney general. How can a governor run a state when the commissioner for finance is not loyal to him? When the attorney general is openly hostile to the governor, it is impossible. The agreement with the president was a non-starter. It was an agreement that was not reached in good faith. It was never going to stand. It was never practicable. There is nowhere the most sensitive positions in the cabinet of a state will be occupied by persons who are openly hostile to the governor of the state. Imagine that at the federal level now, that the Minister of Finance and the Attorney General are publicly hostile to Tinubu. Is there any agreement, even initiated by Trump, by the UN or the African Union, that can allow that kind of arrangement to stay in place just to maintain some sort of stability in the governance of the country? The answer is no. So I knew that some of those things that were contained in that agreement was never going to stand. Now, regarding the allegation of expenditure of public funds without budgetary provisions or without parliamentary approval, that is a serious matter. I believe that the panel will look at it. Some of the other allegations about persons whose nominations have not been confirmed, that is, who have not been lawfully appointed, occupying names of the persons. We do not know the portfolios. We do not know when they assume offices. So these are the issues. The House will have to go before the panel to present their case with evidence to substantiate these allegations. But some of the allegations seem serious to me, except that with the facts and the particulars have not been provided. So they remain allegations until proven. But note that it is entirely a matter left for the 7-member panel to determine. Once that panel reaches a verdict, that verdict cannot be contested. It is not appealable. If they say that the allegations have not been proved, that is the end of the matter. But I am concerned that, again, we are allowing politics to take precedence over governance. Right? Because what is the fight about? What is Wike's stake in this matter? What is he fighting for? Is he saying that is not satisfied with the way the governor has governed the state in terms of development, in terms of job creation? That is not what I'm hearing. I don't know what New Central has heard, but that is clearly not what is being communicated publicly that some of us are privy to. This is all about access to the allocation of the state and control over the political machinery of the state. But like the guest in the studio has noted, it's not as if Fubara is entirely innocent in all this. Because Ghanaian Obi stated so that, look, those who sow the seeds of dictatorship will be consumed by dictatorship. The manner in which this governor and his deputy came into office, go and look at the process. Even the gubernatorial election that brought them into office, the machinations, the rigging. So some of these things are coming back to bite him. But having said that, people should not be allowed, the people of Rivers State should not be allowed to be used as a stepping stone for political relevance of few individuals. Because what they are now doing, they are not sacrificing the interests of the people of the state for the personal aggrandizement of a few persons. The minister is supposed to be very busy in Abuja. Where does he have the time to tell the local governments in Rivers State when campaign have not commenced, is openly campaigning, and you see the whole embarrassing drama? He is neither in PDP, he is neither in APC. He is parading the chairman of the PDP and the APC at his rallies, even bragging about it. This is not how to democratize the country. This is not how to build a democracy. So what they are telling us to our faces is that the democratic process in Rivers State have been subverted and that the people of Rivers State cannot do anything about it. That saddens me. The House of Assembly also is not innocent. It's not innocent. They know that this is about money. They know that this is about, in quote, loyalty, not the interest of the people of Rivers State. So let us hope that all this will end soon, one way or the other, and hopefully there will be some efforts to return the state back to governance.
Of the city minister, he's explained a number of these things. One of them is the dualization of Ahuada Road. He says that the governor is taking the credit for it, even though he paid 70% before handing over to the governor. He also mentioned how the governor is not continuing with his programs, how he employed 1,000 Rivers youths, but...
It's actually 10,000.
10,000 Rivers youths, but that the governor did not continue from there. But I want to take comments from
Before you do that, Inibe mentioned something very instructive. He said he's bragging about subverting democracy in Rivers State, you know, the way the governor came in and all of that. And in his last rally, he was also reminiscing about what they did in Osun State and Edo State. So it would be nice for him to come out and tell us what they really did.
We're streaming live on YouTube, right? New Central Live, New Central TV Live. Just to take comments from our YouTube audience. Thank you, Luke Crone. He says, good morning, wonderful crew of New Central. Welcome back, Lady Olive. Thank you. He said, is Wike trying to challenge the president directly? Interesting days ahead, though. Make I sip my hot coffee. My brother, sip and well. Pokuye Chukwemeka says, 7 cardinal sins indeed. Good morning, Team New Central. We will have many more seasons when it comes to Rivers State. I said it before, we are just starting. We will see more before, during, and after the 2027 elections. Olumide Alade says, the only agreement the governor has is with the people of Rivers State, and that agreement is to serve them, not any political godfather. While other states are moving forward, Rivers State continues to grapple with political structure and lingering power crisis struggles. And Pius Amako says, good morning, wonderful team of New Central. Welcome back, Lady Olive. Thank you, Pius. You are, oh, thank you for the compliments. He now says, let me say it here. This impeachment process is an effort in futility. A PDP member orchestrating APC members to remove an APC governor. The speaker even called the governor a mistake. Let me go and eat my roasted chicken. My brother, eat it well. Let's talk about the role of APC in all of this. Governor Fubara has moved to the APC. Many argue that that's what has triggered the reaction of the Minister of the FCT. The APC has rejected impeachment proceeding in all of this. What does this say about the covering that the APC has? Recall that many governors have moved to the APC to align with the center. Yeah. What does it speak about the APC, about the peace accord, about the president, who is the #1 man in the APC?
And also the fact that the governor and the House members are APC, can it be resolved internally as a family dispute?
I think this matter is a bit complicated. Starting from the covering of APC, one of the things that we got to know that actually angered the FCT minister was the fact that you will recall that there was a video where the chairman of Governors Forum actually took the governor of Rivers State to the president. Hope Uzodinma actually took, and there were a lot of back and forth that have come as a result of that. And you know how powerful the FCT president, minister is. In fact, I'm even calling him president because,
I was like,
yes,
you don't know.
Because the convoy looks like that of a president anytime he passes in Abuja, and I really love the convoy. I love the convoy.
Yeah, the Rolls Royce is a beautiful car.
It speaks of our worth as a nation. So having said that, I think he was a bit not comfortable. If my governor wants to see Mr. President, when we went for peace accord, we went together. I think it would be something that is politically nice for my governor to have gone to see Mr. President with me. Now my governor is going with, behind my back with the governors, with the chairman of Governors Forum. Could that mean that there are meetings that are held behind my back that I'm not aware of? If you're not careful, politically that can give you some IBP. So, and the best way to act is to actually fire back to let everybody know that I'm still in charge of the state. And you look at the Rainbow Coalition.
FCT minister.
Rainbow Coalition. You didn't see the Rainbow Coalition. Rainbow Coalition is a combination of both APC, PDP, and not participating parties. Everybody is there. So it's a way of giving a clear signal. And if you come to look at it, a lot of people in power today do not like the FCT minister. Maybe because of his constant communication or controversy, call it. And it's looking as if his own godson is aligning with a lot of people who don't like him politically. So all of these are the reasons why I think some of these things are coming out at this point in time. But having said that, we need to lay emphasis on one thing. The power in democracy. Democracy is the only form of government that lays emphasis on the people from beginning to the end. It means that your policy, your program, your project must be about the people. So the people cannot be helpless in a democracy to the point where one of the people will now become so powerful that it can actually change the destiny of the entire people by who it makes the leader of the people. A lot of people don't, on the front page of the paper, there's a research there, the paper we took the other time, that was talking about youth participation in politics. It's closely written with the story we're analyzing. This Nigeria.
Now, when you politically active online, yes, and silent offline researcher.
So when you look at this research, it's telling you that democracy cannot be left in the hand of a few. It means that the people, as it were, is a central figure in the definition of what democracy should look like. So we do not like what is happening in Rivers because you can't even tell what the people are thinking. What is the input of people apart from giving them several jerseys of different political parties? It used to be the jersey of APC. It used to be the jersey of PDP. Now it's Rainbow Coalition jersey. Apart from this, where else are the people and what else are they doing?
We're almost out of time. If share your final thoughts in 1 minute regarding your projection for how this will be or will not be resolved. In 1 minute, please.
Well, unfortunately for Fubara, unfortunately for Governor Fubara, President Tinubu is not an ambassador of politics that has a lot of respect for the views of the people. So he himself is the Jagaban of Lagos. Wike is trying to be the Jagaban of Rivers. I don't know how many Jagabans we are going to have as a country. But let us hope that this crisis is going to stop and that they will go back to focus on why they are actually in office, which is to deliver governance to the people of Rivers State. This lunacy, political lunacy, has persisted for too long. There has to be an end to it. We simply cannot continue to focus on this. When people are suffering, when people are looking for governance in Abuja, look at the lawyer, my colleague that was murdered, gruesomely murdered by so-called one-chance operators. Look at the nurse that was murdered. Has the FCT minister gone to condole with their families? Public schools in Abuja, I'm not sure if they have opened, but they have gone on strike for months. Even unions in Rivers State have issued a notice that they are going to down tools. Where is the FCT minister? There are things that are requiring urgent ministerial attention. But it's storing the local governments, playing politics. We have to come to a point as a country where politicians realize that public office is about public service.
Right. Thank you so much, Inibere. Thank you very much for sharing that. Prince Ajibade says, in the name of God, can one of them please come out and tell us what the agreements are? Wike is behaving as if Rivers people should be grateful to him for the air they breathe. Your final thoughts in 20 seconds.
Okay. Inibere actually said that the president is Jagaban of Lagos, that another person is trying to be the Jagaban of Rivers. So my parting shot will be that I pray that there will not be clash of two Jagabans in the future. So I rest my case.
Okay, this is where we rest our case.
Yes,
Thank you.
This is where we come
and it is well with you, people of Rivers State. We'll continue to talk about this, and we know that there will be more developments by next week. Thank you very much to our virtual audience.
Wow.
Our physical
I can't
audience.
believe the week is over.
I can't believe
I wish management can give us 8 hours tomorrow to continue some of these discussions.
The week is over.
Did you say management can give us some good news? You talk about yourself.
Can I wrap up with a parting shot?
Yes.
The week is over, but Wike's tantrums are not over.
Hey. We'll continue to monitor. Hopefully by this weekend he would have finished his 20-something local government thank you tour in Rivers State.
Okay, as I wrap up, I'm giving a special shout out to Ayo Maire Ese, who turned 40, and to my incredible niece, Mavella, who turned 10. Wishing you all a wonderful celebration. And to Mayowa is our director. His daughter is celebrating her birthday.
That's true.
Morire, happy birthday.
And Mayowa, thank you for the chin-chin you bought for me.
I'm not forgetting to, I just wanted to say something. I just saw something. Anyway, enjoy your weekend.
Enjoy your weekend.